the game's best pitcher the last few years in Clayton Kershaw. And John's coming off a really fine performance down in San Diego. Here's the probables in the series. It's Gray and Kershaw tonight, Chris Russin, Brett Anderson, Jorge De La Rosa, and Alex Wood. So John Gray's the odd guy. He's the right-hander.
And no Zach Greinke on that list, so that looks pretty good. But, of course, for John Gray, he's coming off that start in San Diego where he was very, very good. He had 6 strikeouts, tying a career high, 5 innings, 75 pitches. He had all his pitches working that day. He was electric with his fastball, also worked very well with his slider to get some strikeouts. So you look back to that start in New York, was electric. This one down in San Diego, just the same. Out on the road, his ERA is below 3, so that's a good sign if you're sitting there and you're thinking about John Gray pitching against Clayton Kershaw tonight. But it is not going to be an easy task because we all know what Clayton Kershaw brings to the table.
Well, he's otherworldly. He had a somewhat slow start by his standards in April. Look what he's done his last 10 starts, 7-0. Are you kidding me? A 104 ERA?
And 259 strikeouts on the season. That'll go for 4th most in Dodger history. So Clayton Kershaw has that fastball. So everybody was worried, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? Folks, there's nothing wrong with Clayton Kershaw. If you get a chance tonight, you've got to make sure you get every opportunity you can.
Absolutely. If you get a chance early, you have to capitalize. You're not going to get many, obviously, when you are taking on a guy like Kershaw. It's the first of 3. The Rockies in Tinseltown. Come on back to Dodger Stadium with us. This lengthy road trip continues for the Rockies. It began in San Diego, a 4-game set. The Rockies split it with the Padres up north. They took 2 of 3 from Seattle. And it's back to Southern California, the first of 3 tonight. The Rockies and Dodgers. The Rockies just 2-5 at Dodger Stadium so far this year. Final series at Dodger Stadium in 2015 for Colorado. Jose Reyes back in the lineup. He missed the last 3 with an Achilles strain. He's going to lead things off, and he'll come in from the right side against Clayton Kershaw. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss this evening. DJ LeMahieu will bat second. Nolan Arenado, who grew up just south of here in Orange County, he'll bat third. Cargo will bat fourth. He has a couple of home runs in his career against Kershaw. Then the Baby Bull will bat fifth. Corey Dickerson in the 6th spot. Tom Murphy behind the plate batting 7th, his second big league start. Brandon Barnes is in center field, and John Gray is on the mound. So we're set to go. Clayton Kershaw making his 29th start of the year, 13-6 with that fabulous 2.15 ERA. And as Jeff alluded to, 259 strikeouts, a career best in 201 innings. And depending on how they use him down the stretch, and this is slowly hit to short. Seager, the kid, throws out Reyes, 1 out. He has a chance to punch out 300 this year.
And if he did that, he would move to second all time. If he just goes above 306, which was Sandy Koufax's mark. Now, Koufax has the highest total in Dodger history at 382. He did that in 1965.
Yeah, I don't think that one's going to fall anytime soon.
No, I don't think so. But to think about that, 259 strikeouts. He's also thrown over 200 innings 5 times now in his career.
DJ steps in, 314 average, 6 home runs, and 54 driven in, and the fastball's in there for a strike at 94. Well, Kershaw, if the Dodgers desire, could make 5 more starts, but something tells me when you get to the last week of that season, they'll already have clinched. They're 7.5 up on the Giants. The magic number for Don Mattingly's crew is 13. And as Vince Scully told us earlier when we were chatting with the legendary broadcaster, the Dodgers could go 10-10 the rest of the way. That would force the Giants to go 17-2.
I don't think they're worried about that as much as maybe getting the home field advantage over the Mets. So maybe he still does make some starts because of where they are, because their numbers at home are much better than they are out on the road.
They're rather pedestrian out on the road. At home, they've been one of the great teams we've seen in a while in their home ballpark. Fouled off by DJ, the 1-2. Nolan on deck. And they're a half game up right now on the Mets, and if they were to meet in the best of 5, as you were discussing, you want to line up, if you're a Dodger fan, obviously you want to line up Greinke and Kershaw and Greinke, whichever way you go. What a series that'll be with the Mets pitchers. My. Outside, 2-2.
Those might be 1-0 games the whole series.
Here's that slider that all the hitters you and I talked to today with the Rockies said that's the pitch you got to lay off of. And he'll throw it about 27% of the time, but lately he's been throwing it even more than that.
And it's hard, though. It's 88 miles an hour when you round up on the slider. So, yeah, you say that's the pitch you don't want to try to get to, or you've got to be able to hit it. That's easier said than done. Even if the catcher, Grandal, tells you it's coming, which it is right now, it's still hard to hit. I mean, there was DJ just getting enough of it to foul it off.
The thing about facing Kershaw, and I don't know if this makes it any easier, but it gives you at least a game plan. Talk to Cargo, we talked to DJ. They have familiarity on how he typically pitches each of those individual guys.
That helps to have a history with a pitcher, and you're not wondering.
And a walk. DJ draws a walk, and Kershaw hands those out, like you hand out manhole covers. He doesn't walk many. It's just his 37th walk this year. So with 1 out, there's 1 on for the Rockies. Here's the defensive alignment for the Dodgers. They have the top fielding percentage in baseball. Scott Schebler is in left field, young player. Jock Peterson in center. Andre Ethier is in right. Justin Turner at third. Just brought up a few days ago, Corey Seager, in fact, making his Dodger Stadium debut. One of the top prospects in the game. Jay Utley over from Philadelphia. Adrian Gonzalez, Yasmani Grandal. High with the fastball. Clayton Kershaw, Huey, is the complete pitcher. And what I mean by that is the numbers speak for themselves in how he handles hitters. He's a terrific fielder. He handles the bat decently. He holds runners on very well. And that's what I mean by being complete in every area. This ball's well hit right center field, and it is going to get down. Good read by LeMahieu. And Nolan is safe at second base. It is a double for Arenado. And the Rockies have second and third with one out.
The extra hits keep on rolling for Nolan. 36th double of the season. He jumps on the four-seam fastball, belt high. Takes it to the off gap. And by the time Andre Ethier can catch it, spin around, stop his momentum, Nolan with the headfirst dive into second base before the tag of Seager. And keep that hand on the bag.
Yep, and he did. The Dodger video crew took a look at it. Don Mattingly not asking for a review. So now a huge at-bat for Carlos Gonzalez. Left on left. Cargo's had his moments against Kershaw. Told you when we did the lineup, he has a couple home runs against him. But in 33 at-bats, he also has had to tip his cap a few times. 17 strikeouts against Kershaw. With the infield back, Cargo knows, get it in play.
And he might even sit on some sliders from Kershaw. We saw him get it quite a few in the Seattle series.
He did say Kershaw's been aggressive with his fastball against him. And he got a fastball out of the gate, and you saw Clayton bellied up to the bar. He realizes there's a situation early, and he went 96 on that fastball.
The good ones can do that. They can elevate. They might sit at 94, but when they feel it, they can touch 96, 97, go get some extra.
Kershaw's got a lather going already. Pleasant night in Los Angeles. And that ball was a mistake pitch. That was a slider that was more, you don't see it much from Kershaw, but more of a frisbee slider. And now it's a 2-strike count. You really have to go into battle mode.
Acted like just a flat BP pitch. Didn't have any depth on it at all.
So Cargo really has had 2 pitches to hit, and that worries you.
Sometimes you're lucky to get one in a game against Kershaw. Now he's had 2 in this first at bat.
Flex those knees a little bit more. 0-2. And that's the pitch you have to stay off of. He gets a swing and miss on his slider 46% of the time. And of late, it's been better than 51% of the time over his last 6 games.
That's why he's piling up the strikeouts.
And it's in play. It'll get a run home. Nice job by Carlos Gonzalez. And again, he got a curveball that sat up in the zone. So Cargo drives in a run, his 88th RBI, and the Rockies get a quick jump on the Dodgers and Kershaw.
I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better, but Carlos Gonzalez dug deep for this pitch just to make contact. Don't take a wild swing. He was just trying to put it in play because he knew the infielders were playing back. Take that RBI and get yourself on the board.
And Nolan had a good read on the positioning of Corey Seager, so he crossed to third. 2 outs, and here's Rosario. And that's why it was important that he got to third. The block by Yasmani Grandal. But Nolan had that ball kicked to the backstop, obviously comes storming home.
For Nolan, you know that the guy at third's going to go. So as soon as you see the read and you get by there, that's when you'll take that base and get to third.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Big gap in left center field for Willeen.
Well, Willeen has thrived against lefties in his career. This isn't any old lefty. We understand that. 1-1. And that's a strike on the inside corner with the fastball. Rosario 8 for 31, a couple doubles and a home run in his matchups with Kershaw. Couple doubles in the Seattle series. Rockies won yesterday 3-2 with just 4 hits.
And they're aided by the air. You'll take them any way you can get them.
You bet. Who wants tacos when the Rockies score 7 or more runs in a game? Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special at Moss at Taco Bell. Arenado doubled. He's at third now. A run in, 2 outs. Rosario at the plate with a 1-2 count.
Watch for the bounced off-speed pitch. Yep. He wanted the off-speed, but not there. Hanger is too high.
He gets so much drop on his curveball that you can't give up on it as a hitter, can you?
No, and the rate spin on it is so much higher than everybody else. That's why it gets the drop. So coming out of the hand, he really gets the torque on his fingers to finish at the end.
Now, not only do the Rockies have a run in this inning, so right there it makes it a very successful inning, but they're forcing Clayton to work. I mean, he's got 21 pitches invested in this inning already. Walt was saying that before the ball game. You're not going to get many opportunities with Kershaw. You got to cash in the few you get. And so far the Rockies have. 2-2. This ball's hit well center field. Peterson is going to run it down. John Peterson saves a run with that grab. In the inning, the Rockies get a run on the Cargo ground out. John Gray to the mound. And he has struggled to make contact in the second half. Here's the Southwest batting order for Donnie Baseball. He'll have Chase Utley batting second. Low batting average, but Chase has come on of late. Adrian Gonzalez 5 for his last 9 at the plate. Outstanding numbers in his career against the Rockies and this year in particular. Justin Turner's had a very fine year. Then Andre Ethier. Corey Seager, the rookie, hitting .412 in his first taste of the major leagues. Yasmani Grandal Scott Schebler's got a lot of pop. He'll bat from the left side in the 8th spot. And look at John Gray. That's right, 7 starts, Huey, without a decision.
Well, he's obviously looking for that one tonight because he's tied a record with those 7 starts and a no decision to go out there. And the game plan's still the same for John. Talking to Walt today, he's going to 2 or 3 more starts throughout the season. His ERA out on the road is 2.35 compared to 7.88 at home. He had that blow-up game against the Mets where he ended up giving up 7 earned runs in just an inning and 2/3, so that ballooned the ERA.
He has simplified his windup. You can't even call it a windup. It looks like he's going out of the stretch. It's not dissimilar to what Chris Russin's doing.
It just helps him to stay on plane and drive straight towards the hitter.
And he's ahead of Peterson 1-2.
This is John's new windup. Just turns the left foot in and then rocks back.
He was excited about pitching at Dodger Stadium for the first time and naturally facing Clayton Kershaw.
Who wouldn't be? I mean, every player looks to go up against some of the best.
This is a pop fly to shallow center. This is a tough play. Nobody's going to catch it. That's unfortunate. You had 3 guys on the right side as infielders. Cargo was chasing. Barnes was coming. Reyes couldn't get there, and it's a fly ball single.
Jose kind of stopped on this ball. As he's going out, he's looking, and then he just stops, thinking that Cargo's going to get there.
And Huey, I have to ask you, is this a product of an infielder being unfamiliar with where he is positioned? It's not a knock on it. It's the new trend, and it's worked out well for the Rockies. But he hasn't chased fly balls in the outfield from that spot.
Yeah, because he's never worked on the right side of the diamond. He's always been a shortstop throughout his whole career. So for him to turn and go, but still, I mean, you go out there and you'll start to sense when an outfielder's getting close to you, but you can also see as you're running out, you can feel that guy, or you can peek out of the corner of your eye, so you keep going, and then at the last minute, if you feel he's too close, that's when you peel off.
And that pitch misses, so it's 1-1 on Chase Utley. Utley was picked up after the trade deadline, the non-waiver trade deadline. And he comes home. He's a Southern California native and was a big star at UCLA, teammates with former Rocky Garrett Atkins. See Mark McGwire looking on with Don Mattingly. Good pitch. That's that off-speed pitch. Utley's hit in 9 straight. He's batting .302. In fact, since August 31st.
He's getting a regular dose of playing time with Howie Kendrick being injured.
Well, and Jimmy Rollins has a hand injury. This is a shattered bat on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, first start against the vaunted Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw. How will the kid John Gray handle it? And I go back to what he did in New York when he faced a very good Mets team, and he threw one-hit baseball for 6 innings. That tells me it gives you a little insight into who the kid is.
And 2 teams that are battling for playoff spots. So as you have the big stage, and then couple that with the fact that they're sitting there battling for first place in their division. Now, the Dodgers had a bigger lead now than what the Mets had, but it's still a big stage.
You bet. 1-2 on Utley. He's got a new bat. And that's strike 3. Slider on the outside corner. Listen, that's a veteran pitch right there. 1 out.
And slider is the pitch that John has got a lot of strikeouts with. You just break the bat of the hitter. What's he thinking? Oh, I don't want him to come inside again, so you start looking inside. and then you dot the corner outside. All he does is look at the plate, slam his bat down, and walk back to the dugout.
No argument with John Hirschbeck from Chase Utley. I'll bring up Adrian Gonzalez. Adrian 3 hits yesterday in a 4-3 win for the Dodgers at Chase Field over the Diamondbacks. Changeup misses, ball 1.
Things got interesting in that game at the end. Kenley Jansen gave up a 3-run home run to make it 4-3.
Yeah, Greinke threw 8 shutout innings, and he had only 93 pitches, but Don Mattingly said, I want to start to back off a little bit and make sure my 2 big guys are ready for the postseason and rested. I'm not going to ask them to go through the extra inning. Greinke had no issue with it. And Jansen got 2 quick outs, and then there was a hit and a walk and a bomb. Next thing you know, okay, whoa.
Oh, maybe he didn't need that much rest.
He struck out Jake Lamb to end it. He also pitched in a 4-run game in the 9th inning on Saturday. So Jansen's availability tonight is a question mark. But that's 8 innings away. 1 ball, 1 strike on.
Yeah, you keep the 1-0 lead. You don't face Jansen.
There you go. Outside 2-1 on one of the game's best run producers, Adrian Gonzalez. He's now over 1,000 ribbies in his career. He passed the 1,000 mark back in May.
Some guys just have the knack of driving in runs.
He's got it.
He does have it, because it doesn't matter where they're at. He finds a way to get it done. Got it.
They got him. Easy. What a move by John Gray. You talk about quick feet. Jock Peterson picked off. 2 outs.
Well, Jock Peterson was dancing off of first base. He was trying to time the pitcher. He was trying to time John when he thought he was going home. So there's the walk, and then once you get him leaning, quick step. He doesn't even get a chance to get back. Lean, he's applying the tag. He said, where are you? Well, I got to go tag you.
Nicely done by John Gray. Just holding that baseball for an extra second. And a swing and a miss. It's 2-2.
Yeah, base runners have that internal clock where you think pitchers are going to deliver the ball once they come set within 2 seconds. And when John held it extra, that's what got the pickoff at first.
Here's the 2-2. And swung on and missed at 97. Impressive start for John Gray. Rockies have a 1-0 lead on Clayton Kershaw. We'll go to the second. Toyota stores, Toyota Let's Go places. By Office Liquidators, offering Colorado's largest selection and lowest prices for new, used, and refurbished office furniture. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. Well, the Rockies have scored a first-inning run against Kershaw at Dodger Stadium for the first time since July the 12th, 2013. It was a walk to LeMahieu, a double to right center by Arenado, and an RBI ground out from Cargo. And now Corey Dickerson in the second will face Kershaw. Dickerson 1 for 9 in his matchups with number 22, and he chases a fastball up and out of the zone. It's 0-1.
This might be a night for Corey to go to the no stride approach with Kershaw. Instead of the leg lift, just pick that heel of your front foot up and get it back down into the ground.
There's that dirty curveball. 0-2.
The old equalizer.
The equalizer and then some.
It just looks like a fastball coming out of the hand, and then just drops down the last 6 feet.
And then goes fastball, and it's fouled off.
Dee Gordon's dad, Tom Gordon, Flash Gordon, had the same sort of curveball. They'd elevate the fastball, and then they'd throw the curveball. It came out of the hand at the same spot the fastball would, and then just bam, right at the end, it'd just drop off the tip.
Yeah, Tom Gordon had one of the great ones. Bert Blyleven, and rightfully so, is always credited for his great curveball. Your good friend Nolan Ryan, it's always the Ryan Express, the fastball at triple digits. He had a fabulous curveball
because of the arm speed that these guys can throw with.
And the slider in the dirt, and Grandal didn't pick it up cleanly. Still gets the out at first base. You could tell that was uncomfortable for Adrian Gonzalez because the fly to the ball went right over the shoulder of Dickerson. You played a little first base, that's disconcerting.
Grandal did not create any sort of lane once he bobbled this ball and didn't pick it up, so he had to just throw it at whatever lane he had to throw it with, and that was over the top of the runner, and it looked like that might have even gone back inside of Corey running down the line, so you lose it briefly.
Tom Murphy, welcome to the big leagues. He's looking for his first major league hit. He was 0 for 3 in his first start, and he gets Clayton Kershaw. And as Walt said in the dugout earlier today, he goes, that's great. Makes the story even better when he gets his first knock, and it's off future Hall of Famer. 0-2, says John Hirschbeck. Western New York kid to the University of Buffalo. No swing. Laz Diaz says nope. John Hirschbeck behind home plate. Laz Diaz at first. John Tempane is at second. James Hoy at third.
John's been an umpire a long, long time.
And the fastball swung on and missed. 2 strikeouts. First 2 strikeouts of the ball game for Kershaw. That'll bring up Brandon Barnes. Rockies fans, we invite you each and every night to join in on the conversation. Send us your comments and photos. Use Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Make sure you include the hashtag ToyotaTalk.
261 strikeouts leads Max Scherzer by 30.
Pitches in there for a strike. It's 0-1.
Jake Arrieta, Madison, I mean, the usual guys.
The usual suspects. Boy, that's ridiculous. Major league leaders include a few in the American League. I'll show you that curveball again.
When he has all 3 pitches working, the fastball, the slider, and then this curveball, you have to pick one in one spot and just hope you get it.
major league leaders in strikeouts. Includes Corey Kluber and Archer with the great slider in Tampa. Brandon hanging in there, 2-2. Rockies have a miserable record when facing left-handed starters.
7-26.
Did get a win the other day against a left-handed starter, though, up in Seattle.
It would be James Paxton.
2-2.
Keep battling Brandon.
And John Hirschbeck flinched, but that was off the plate.
It was off the plate. Just because it was caught on the outside corner of Grandal, he had set up there. Set up off the plate. From that angle, it looks like it caught the corner, but straight on, no.
And he goes back to his go-to pitch, the slider, and he ends up striking out the side. Rockies have a 1-0 lead, middle of 2 in LA.
By Jon Gray, including having some of the guys in the Rockies dugout yell, "Oh, wow!" I heard G. Hill yell. He's been talking about his delivery, and I asked Jon about it. This is what he said.
Definitely, I feel like I'm getting a lot more. I'm getting a lot more angle. I'm taking away from running balls in, cutting balls away. Instead, I'm getting angle. I feel like with contact, I'm getting a lot more ground balls as well.
I think that's what you want to see with Jon Gray. You want to see him being able to create the ground ball and also the margin of error. To me, that's so much more important for him because when he's able to get that movement, he doesn't have to be so perfect.
Well, he's got good stuff again tonight. He's ahead of Justin Turner, Spilly, 0-2. Turner with 15 home runs, 53 RBIs. Both are career best for Turner. He was helping carry the Dodgers, especially in that first half. That pitch misses away, 1-2 on Turner.
You can tell by this delivery now with John that he's landing in the same spot every time.
Where's that? That's a strike. That's
right
what
there.
I thought it was. Yeah. All right. Strike 3, and that's 3 straight punch outs for John Gray.
Yeah, the first one was looking. The one Adrian Gonzalez was swinging. Now another looking. I don't know what Justin Turner's wondering about. They caught the corner inside. Pitcher's pitch. Maybe he was looking away. That's probably what he was doing. He's going to give me a slider.
Andre Ethier at the plate.
Huey, do you ever think about guys at this level, major league level, making a small adjustment, the fear factor you have to have?
It seems like some guys do. I don't think everybody does.
And you know what, for a guy like John Gray to come up to the big leagues and then he make a small, minute adjustment, I would assume, and even I asked him, I said, is it weird learning on the fly? He goes, you know, it's a good challenge. I like it. But if you ask some guys to try to make an adjustment, some guys are like, you know what, it worked in the minor leagues. I got to trust that my skill set will work in the majors.
Line drive to left, and it'll be fielded on a hop by Corey Dickerson. So it's a one-out single for Ethier.
Just one final thought on that for Spilly. It's just, when you get to the big leagues, you're scared to make adjustments. You're scared to do something different because you got here on a certain skill set. And so if you go out there and you change something and you fail, now you're thinking, oh no, but how do I get back to where I was before? So that's why some guys won't do it.
Here's Corey Seager. And that is a foul ball. That's a great play by Willeen.
You have to lay out because you don't know if it's going to be fair or foul. You just have to stop it. By the time you make that play, that's when you hear foul ball.
This is his first at bat at Dodger Stadium. Dodger fans been hearing about this kid for a while, and Baseball America, MLB.com rating him either 1 or 2 as the top prospect in baseball. Byron Buxton of the Twins, oftentimes rated number 1, but this kid so well thought of, and everybody that the Dodgers spoke to around the trade deadline naturally would ask for him, and they were saying, listen, without equivocation, they are not trading Seager. Didn't matter who it was for. I think he's their shortstop of the very near future. That ball's fouled off. Hit his first big league home run the other day, a 4-hit game on Saturday in Arizona. He went deep against Josh Comenter.
He's a tall kid, 6'4", 215 pounds. To play shortstop, that's an unusual height. Most of the time it's 6'2". I mean, Troy was 6'3", almost 6'4", but very few guys are that rangy.
Just saw his big brother Kyle over the weekend when the Rockies were taking on the Mariners. His brother can hit, he can hit, his little brother can hit. Little brother is he's in the Mariners system also. He's on his way up. Here's the 1-2. And this ball's well hit toward the gap in right center field. And it's cut off there by Barnes, and a stop sign for Andre Ethier. Good job by Brandon Barnes. That goes to the wall. It's going to score the run. So Corey Seager, who I'm sure faced John Gray in the PCL, doubles off him here with 1 out in the second.
You can see what the hype is about because he turned on this fastball quickly. But Brandon gets it and cuts it off, and then more importantly, he hits the cutoff man. Too many times you'll see the outfielder, when he spins and throws, he doesn't hit him. And then that's when that lead runner can go ahead and score. But DJ catches it. He's ready to fire in. So the third base coach, Ron Renicky, had to put the brakes on for Andre Ethier.
Yasmani Grandal comes up with one out. Let's see how Jon Gray handles this first situation of the ball game. There's a strike, 1-1.
Well, if you can get Grandal either a strikeout, maybe a pop-up that the runner doesn't score, then you can play the next hitter one of two ways. You can pitch to him, or you can just put him on to load the bases to get to Kershaw.
Yep. Well, Grandal, a very fine first half, 282 average, but 189 in the second. Here's the 1-1. It's 2-1.
Just one home run compared to 14 in the first half.
Yeah, he's driven in only 8 runs in the second half after having 36 at the break. Changeup floats high. You got an all-rookie battery. Tom Murphy behind the plate in his second big league game. Jon Gray on the mound in his 8th big league start. (3-1). This will get the run home. Communication. Barnes calls off Dickerson. And the sac fly by Grandal. And it's 1-1. 45th RBI for Grandal as Ethier scores. They all had to do with what the count was. 3-1. You got a fastball up, a hitter's count.
The fastball up away from you is the easiest ball to hit to the opposite field for a sac fly.
And they'll put Schebler on. Never quite understood the booing when you do what's such a logical thing to do.
Just give the fans something to boo about, something to be engaged in the game.
I guess.
I'm not disagreeing with you. It's a baseball move. Set
Well,
up the force and you're getting the pitcher to come up.
Well, put it this way. If you're the hometown manager, and say Don Mattingly had that situation, he didn't walk the guy, and then that guy throws a double out in the gap, they'd be booing also that you didn't walk him.
Well, looking for a great deal? Get a Coca-Cola value pack available September 18th through the 20th against the San Diego Padres for either $59 or $79, depending on seat location.
So Schebler goes to first. Seager's at second. Here's Kershaw. It's a slider outside. Kershaw's driven in a couple of runs this year. From Highland Park, Texas. Highland Park area, Dallas, right near SMU, 2-0.
Same high school as Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, they were close. They grew up at the high school together. job by Murphy going out. To see Gray after that second pitch miss. There's a strike.
Pitchers have a feel. They know maybe when a pitcher is laboring or wasn't doing the right thing. They go out there, just give him a chance to take a pause.
And you know what? Stay right there with the fastball.
Yes,
Don't mess around.
Don't speed up his bat.
Yep.
Don't try to outthink it.
He went out there, but he missed, so it's 3-2, and the runners will be off.
Well, 3-2, you can't set up exactly on the corner. You still have to give some plate coverage, so the outer third instead of the black.
And he got it.
And that's where he went, outer third.
Yep.
Great pitch.
So John Gray gets nicked in the second. Single, double, and a sac fly. 1-1 as we go to the third. Hashtag RM Data Strong Fan, and you might see yourself in an upcoming game broadcast. That's brought to you by T-Mobile. Yeah, while Clayton Kershaw gets some of his warm-up pitches done late to the mound, obviously, since he was hitting in the inning, we wanted to pass along our condolences to a Dodger legend that nobody would know unless you were in the media or involved in the Dodgers organization. There's a gentleman who worked for the Dodgers for 50 years by the name of Dave Pearson, who was the chef for the media and many others. In fact, he used to cook for Frank Sinatra when he was in town, for Pope John Paul, very close friends with the great Vin Scully. And his motto was, if you treat people with honey and love, it will come back to you every day. And literally every day, and we're at Dodger Stadium quite a bit, Huey, every day that we'd be at Dodger Stadium and we'd see Dave, he'd greet you with a smile, and it was like gathering again with an old friend. And Dave passed away on Saturday after a long illness at 75, but what a gem of a man.
Gonna miss his smile. I mean, every time you come into Dodger Stadium, it was like you were sitting down in his kitchen. It was known as Dave's Diner, but it was almost a slice of home, his home.
You bet. And I mean, what a warm human being. And I know all the folks here in the press box and around the organization with a heavy heart today, and they had a moment of silence for Dave Pearson. And there he is up on the big board. Look at that. John Gray draws a walk against Clayton Kershaw. I mean, Kershaw never has a lapse in focus, and he just had one.
2 walks tonight here in 2+ innings for Clayton.
May have to send him down to instruct.
Can you do it right now? His season high in walks is 4, and that was against the Rockies back on the 15th of May.
So Jose Reyes at the plate. He bounced to short his first time up, really on the first pitch of the game. Here's a strike. 27-year-old Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton made his debut when he was 20 years old and 2 months. That was back on May 25th, 2008.
He signed a $215 million deal a little more than a year ago. He's making $32 million and change this year. The change is $571,000. He can opt out after the 2018 season if he so desires. Here's the 0-1, and this ball on the ground to third. There's 1, and there's 2.
Chase Utley still has it around the back because this was not a good feed from Justin Turner. Chase had to make the adjustment at second base. He gets over there. What you like as a second baseman is give me the feed so I can come across the bag to clear myself from the runner. But Justin throws it to the backside of the bag. You see how he had to adjust the footwork to make that work? And he threw out Jose by a step.
It was interesting that he was straddling the bag.
Yeah, that's not the way I would teach it. Straddling, to me, is I want to have a foot on the bag when that throw's coming. But if you straddle it, you get tied up with the bag in between your feet.
Why don't you go to that back corner?
You put your left foot on the bag, and then you'll take your right foot to wherever the ball is. So if you go to that back corner, it would have been an easier turn for him.
Utley's got this. DJ's retired, and after the walk to Gray, it still turns into a 1-2-3 inning. Middle of 3, it's a 1-1 ball game. Utley and Adrian Gonzalez. Drew Goodman, Jeff Hewson, and Ryan Spilborghs from Dodger Stadium. The National League playoff picture brought to you by DirecTV. The Mets way out in front now. The Nationals in the East. The Cardinals' lead has been trimmed to 2.5. They have not played well the last 10 days or so. The Pirates are coming. The Dodgers are 7.5 up, magic number of 13 with the Giants, and then the Pirates and Cubs have those two additional playoff spots locked up. Again, the Pirates are trying to chase down the Cardinals. The Pirates tomorrow open up a series with the Cubs. If the playoffs were to begin tomorrow, which they don't, but that's what announcers say, if they were to begin tomorrow, it would be the Dodgers and the Mets, with the Mets having to play 3 of the 5 at Dodger Stadium.
I just want to know what happened to the Washington Nationals. I mean, they just fell completely.
Mike Rizzo was quoted, as that pitch is in for strike 1 and 2, was quoted in the paper today back east as saying that it was the bullpen. The difference was the bullpen.
And that's why they thought when they went and got Papelbon that it would make it stronger, but Drew Storen didn't do very well in that setup role. Then he breaks his hand because he got frustrated. He broke a finger.
Yeah, by the time he broke the thumb, it was already over. Other than Kate Smith singing.
Was it 88 out of 90 people that guessed that the Washington Nationals were going to win that division and maybe even the World Series?
Well, they were the sexy choice. Well, sports has never been played, fortunately, on paper. 2-2 on Peterson. He had a pop fly single in the first. And that slider's fouled off by Peterson. Jock's another guy that was hit below 200 in the second half. Now, he struck out a lot in the first half. He hit a lot of home runs. He hit 230 in the first half. Again, not a great average, but he was scuffling so much he lost some time in center field. That's a swing and a miss, and he almost broke his bat over home plate. So Peterson is the 5th strikeout for Jon Gray, and John twice has struck out 6 in a game. That's his career best so far.
Yeah, the last one coming against San Diego. And if Joc Pederson would just slam his bat every time he struck out, he'd go through 157 bats, because that's number 157K for Joc Pederson.
1 out. Chase Utley caught looking at a slider on the outside corner, his first at bat. And he gets a slider on the inside corner for a strike. Chase reunited with his good friend Jimmy Rollins here in LA. And Don Mattingly has said that when Jimmy's hand heals, he's going to go with the veteran at shortstop, not the kid, Corey Seager.
And that's a tough call for the manager. I mean, I understand what Don's saying, because it goes back to that line you used to hear: you can't lose your job if you get injured. Was that more in the NFL, or I've heard it in sports before? But Seager comes out and continues to hit like he is.
I think, and Huey, you played a long time. Here's the 1-2. I like how he raised the eye level a little bit on that fastball. I think it has more to do with where the Dodgers are and going into the postseason. Jimmy Rollins is playoff tested, man. He has spent most of his career playing in the postseason with Philadelphia. And I think, sure, Corey Seager at this point in the game, has more tools perhaps than Jimmy does now. But Jimmy's former MVP. This ball's on the ground to short, and Reyes has got it. 2 outs. I think it has to do more with a veteran guy like Jimmy Rollins being able to handle the playoffs, handle the late season push. And also, let's face it, Jimmy Rollins on a team that doesn't have a lot of quote-unquote leaders among their everyday players, Jimmy's that guy.
And in a short series where you're trying to just win 3 games in 5.
Two outs, and here's Adrian Gonzalez. And Adrian drives this ball to left field, and it is foul.
But then I guess the same could be said for when Howie Kendrick comes back. Does he go into second base instead of Chase Utley?
He's a better player right now than Chase Utley. And, listen, Utley's had a great career. It does this, though. It gives you some options off the bench. And I think back to the great 07 run of the Rockies. Seth Smith was a kid. He came up and he became Mr. Late Night pinch hitting.
You need one of those guys in the playoffs. Every club has one guy that kind of shocks you.
Well, one of their guys who you'd say would be the likely candidate for it's now in the starting lineup every day at third base, and that's Justin Turner. But, more of a veteran guy who's going to handle the pressure and's got pop in his bat. It may be a Seager and an Utley in the postseason. We'll see how it plays out. There's Turner on deck. 1-2, swung on and missed. Boy, nice bounce back inning for Jon Gray. After giving up a run in the second, he strikes out 2 in a 1-2-3 third. He's got 6 strikeouts in 3 innings. Closers now in the game.
I would agree. And he's got a good shot of winning that Rolaids Relief Award.
We saw the numbers for Yoenis Cespedes in the month of September. He's the player of the week. He's been lights out for the Mets. Curveball strike one on Nolan Arenado. Nolan, Cargo, and Rosario here against Kershaw in the third. Nolan had a double to right center field to set the stage for the Rockies getting that run in the first. One ball, 2 strikes.
So every time we come to LA, most of the guys get to see their agents. And as we know, Nolan was talking to Scott Boras, and we were talking about having an approach against Clayton Kershaw. Well, Nolan was talking about the slider, and he says, every time that slider comes, it looks so good. I think I can hit it over the State Farm sign. See where the State Farm sign? It's
that's Matt Holliday territory.
There's Scott.
So Scott says, well, don't swing at that slider. You're not going to hit it. Easier said than done.
Yeah, much easier said than done.
Have you seen how far out State Farm sign is? I mean, it's 700 feet, and it's always fun when you're talking to Nolan because he's 24 years old, Clayton Kershaw, Cy Young Award winner, and you hear him talk about a hanging slider thinking he's going to hit 700 feet. Oh, gosh.
Watch it.
Well, listen, if you don't believe you can do something, there's no way you'll be able to do it. There's Yasiel Puig. He's nursing a hamstring injury. He was down at their spring training complex in the Phoenix area, and he did accompany the team back, obviously, from Arizona. They hope to get him back maybe late this week or next week. He's battled a bunch of injuries. A bunch of leg injuries. 3-2. And this is pop foul.
The last couple times the Rockies have played the Dodgers, he was nursing that hamstring. He'd play for a game, maybe sit out for the next day or the day after.
And this is got a lot of English on it. Chase Utley will get Nolan 1 out.
I think Chase was going to get this ball anyway, but Kershaw, like a hockey goalie, just tried to kick it to the corner, and it kicked it more towards Utley. Kershaw sticks his foot out after the delivery. Right here, he'll stick his foot out.
He got it, too.
He did get it. Yeah, he's just kicking it to the corner for Chase Utley to clean it up.
So that's a 1-4-3, huh? Cargo had a good at bat in grounding out to shortstop against Kershaw. You say, well, why is that a good at bat? Second and third, 1 out. He fell behind 0-2 and then got a curveball eventually that he was able to put in play. And you don't see him shorten up on his swing much, but you noted he definitely did in that situation.
For sure, and with good reason. Just get that run in play because you don't know how many chances you're going to get against Kershaw.
And he's in a hole again, 0-2. With every challenge call, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. See Cargo there, kind of hanging that foot in the air. It's very difficult to time Kershaw. I'm talking to Cargo about that. With guys who lift, he has an unconventional timing mechanism, Kershaw.
And even when he starts to come down, he hesitates again before that foot goes into the ground. So watch. So Cargo's saying, well, do I go now? When do I go? And if you wait too long, then you end up being late like he was on that swing.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Carlos. 1 for 4 yesterday in Seattle. Well, that's a good job nicking the curveball, and it got a piece of John Hirschbeck. He gets the most depth on his curveball, really, of any pitcher in baseball. The old cliche, it fell off the table. It really does look like it fell off a table.
Yeah, like you're sitting in maybe your living room, you get to roll the baseball, if your mom would allow it. Just let it drop off the coffee table. That's what it looks like. Well, the timing mechanism for any hitter, whether you have the leg kick, you don't, your hands go back. When a guy like Kershaw comes up, and this will be a good example of it because we're going to try to split screen it, but just notice Kershaw, he'll give you a little extra hitch at the end with his lead leg right there. So Cargo has to figure out, do I go when that lead leg starts to come down, or do I wait till it gets closer to the ground? And remember, folks, it's better to be early with your timing than late because you can keep your hands back and wait.
Outside, and now Cargo has reached a 3-2 count with Kershaw. It's another strong at bat.
Well, another inning where they're making him work. Next pitch will be number 65.
And that didn't surprise me. On every 3-2 count so far, he's thrown the slider.
That's the one. You said it, that he's getting a whiff of over 50% with that slider.
Yeah, last 6 games. And on the season, 46% of the time he gets a swing and a miss. Fastball away. And Cargo drives this with authority to deep left, and it's pulled in by Scott Schebler. Hey, that's one of those great at-bats that you go back to the dugout and you got nothing to show for it, but that is one heck of an at-bat.
Fouled off some sliders, and then he gets the fastball, takes it the other way, and Schebler reaches up right at the edge of the warning track. Now that's 2 balls tonight, and the other one is a guy that's hitting right now. Willeen Rosario hit the ball to right center field that Jock Peterson made the running catch on.
Willeen chases up 0-1. Yeah, if Jock Peterson doesn't make that play in the first inning, the Rockies get 2 in the first frame. 1-1 is the score as the Rockies hit in the fourth.
First 10,000 fans through the gates for the Rockies-Pirates game on September 22nd receive a coupon for a Hebrew National Dollar hot dog. Get your tickets now. September 22nd. Coupons are the first 10,000 fans.
One, 2. Slider in the dirt, 2-2. Now you look at how the opposition has done in terms of on-base percentage. Kershaw has one of the lowest whips in the sport since he arrived. Greinke is partner in crime, 231 on-base percentage. Then Kershaw, Arrieta, Scherzer, DeGrom. You know all 5 of those guys have in common? They always pitch on the day nobody does anything offensively. Luckiest 5 in baseball. 1-1 the score, middle 4 at Dodger Stadium. Back after this. Rockies and Dodgers tied at 1. Great pitching matchup. John Gray hanging right in there with the incomparable Clayton Kershaw. We thought we'd do this through 7 starts. This is John's 8 starts. How did Clayton Kershaw do his first 7 starts? The innings very similar. The hits allowed similar. Earned runs, 16 for Kershaw, 18 for Gray. Couple home runs against Gray, 3 against Kershaw. The walks much higher for Kershaw than John Gray, who's almost 3-1 in terms of strikeout to walk ratio. There's a period of time. It's an evolution to becoming a great pitcher. John Gray's numbers right there early in his career with Kershaw. Now, what you hope, obviously, and
yes.
we're going to bring Spilly in on this conversation as well, that, say, starts 15 through 200 go the same way they've gone for Clayton Kershaw, or any reasonable facsimile, and the Rockies will really have something.
Yes, they would. And every player, every pitcher, doesn't matter. You go through a growth period when you come up. And some might have success immediately, but then there's always going to be a time where you kind of back up just a skosh and have to recalibrate, get back out there. But there's nothing that substitutes learning at the major league level.
Nope. One out on the fly ball from Justin Turner to Cargo. Pretty impressive when you look at that, Spilly, huh?
It is very impressive. And you know what? I'm going to use Clayton Kershaw as a great example. Clayton Kershaw, I remember the first couple times I faced him, he was primarily fastball, curveball. And when I interviewed him a couple years ago, I asked him, what changed? And I really remember a game. It was Rockies versus the Dodgers, of course. And it was May 9th at Dodger Stadium, Ubaldo versus Kershaw. And in one at-bat, he started throwing the back foot slider to right-handed hitters. And he learned it from Rick Honeycutt. Rick Honeycutt was working on it with him. From that point on, I remember looking at the rest of the guys, hey, we're not going to touch this guy ever again.
Because you had early success against Clayton.
I did hit him well, but like I said, he was a fastball curveball. Once he learned the slider, and in that game that he started throwing it against the Rockies, his final line, 8 innings pitched, he won 2-0. So, I mean, one pitch made all the difference in Clayton Kershaw's career.
His focus, his work ethic, when you talk about the great ones, it's not just great talent. It's matched almost always by burning desire to not only be the best, but keep getting better. 1-1 on Andre Ethier. Andre did not go. And it's 2-1.
Back to that old line, it's hard to get to the big leagues. It's harder to stay. Some guys become comfortable after a short amount of time in the big leagues, and you tend to forget, you know what, there's somebody chasing your heels down in AAA or AA that wants your job.
In the air, shallow right. Cargo with the good closing speed. 2 outs.
Number 5, Corey Seager.
2 outs. Corey Seager, who has the best swing of the night for the Dodgers against Wolf. A double to right center in the second. I remember Helton. This was really late in his career. Saying to me, I was chatting with him during batting practice. I said, "What are you working on?" He said, "I'm just trying to get better." And he meant it. I'm like, it struck me. I'm saying, here's a guy at that point, Todd probably had 330 home runs and 317 lifetime batting average. He's walking up the 18th fairway of his career, and he's trying to get better.
That's why he was Todd Helton.
That's why he was Todd Helton. And I'm reminded of one of Clint Hurdle's favorite phrases. He says, "Billy, I know you remember this one." He said, "You want to be great?" He said, "Be good for a really long time." Well, in the case of Clayton Kershaw, he's been great each year. And then I don't know what you call that when you're great every year for a long period of time. Got the foot of Seager, so he'll go to first with 2 outs.
Number 9, Yasmani Grandal.
I love that you guys are mentioning Todd Helton. Well, part of Todd Helton towards the end of his career, he had to learn to make a slight adjustment as well. As he got older, he couldn't get the bat around as fast as he used to, so he had to shorten up. He had that little hitch. Remember, his hands were high. He'd have the big leg kick. Well, his hands would dip down. Over the course towards the end, he had to learn a way to make a small adjustment to make his moves shorter.
It's a game of constant adjustments, and you and I have boys that play, and you remind young kids, listen, man, the best players in the world are constantly making adjustments. This ball is lined to right. It'll be a base hit for Grandal. Cargo is going to shoot it across and nearly got Seager. And you know what? Nolan Arenado immediately pointed to Walt Weiss saying, take a look at it.
I think
How
he
about
got
that
him,
throw?
Yeah, and I think he got him right on the left hand. I mean, Cargo had everything coming behind this throw. So one hop, Seager turns it. He thinks he's got it, but watch the tag right on the left hand. It's going to be close. But what a laser of a throw.
Don't you have to have a permit for that?
In most places you do.
Did he get him on the glove before? I don't know.
It's hard to tell because you don't see the fingers with that mitt, because he has a sliding glove on his left hand that's more of a mitt and not like an oven mitt type when it's going in, so you can't see where the fingers are if he touches that. Whether he's safer out, that throw from Cargo was one of the best you'll see. Just because Nolan didn't have to do anything other than wait for it to come to him and then apply the tag.
So it's first and third, 2 outs. Scott Schebler, hitting out of the 8th spot in the lineup, was intentionally passed in the 2nd inning. I mean, in theory, you could do that again, but now you're loading the bases. Grandal's at first base, so it's not open with Kershaw on deck.
It's just so tough to tell from that angle.
So the Rockies opt not to challenge it, and I understand why, looking at that video a few times. I don't know if that would get flipped around. Here's the 71st pitch, and it's in there for a strike. That's the other thing, as you know, with Gray out there, you have to be mindful of the pitch count. You'd love to see John go at least 5. He's at 71 through 4, and much will be told here in this sequence. See if he can get Schebler and get him quickly.
The season high in pitches is 89. He's on the 24th of August at Pittsburgh.
At the knees for a strike, 1 and 2.
You can also take away 4 pitches of the 73 because of the intentional walk to Schebler. If you really got a splitting hairs, he's at 69. Official type of pitches.
Make one more pitch right here. Got him. Beautiful pitch. Slider well located. He strikes out Scott Schebler. 2 men left on. Corey Seager left at third. Grandal at first. And we'll go to the 5th inning. The Rockies won and the Dodgers won. John Gray, Clayton Kershaw. Barnes. Here's our big hit presented by Maaco. Turn the car you drive into the car you love. This is Dustin Garneau going deep on Friday. A 3-run shot as the Rockies would beat the Mariners. Took 2 of 3 over the weekend against Seattle. First time they've won a interleague series in more than a year. Finished 5-15 against the American League this year. Garneau and Tom Murphy will switch off some behind the plate, and De La Rosa the rest of the way will be throwing to Willeen Rosario. Walt Weiss announced that today. So Wednesday that'll be the battery, De La Rosa and Rosario. Dickerson struck out in the second inning facing Kershaw. The first pitch is in there for a strike. How about John Gray? That last strikeout, his 7th, a new career high in his brief time in the big leagues.
He's had command tonight. His command has been good. When he's wanted to go up top, he's done that. And if he does throw a ball or 2 in a row, he corrects it immediately.
You want to get excited about next year. The game Chad Bettis threw against the Mariners, we've seen him virtually unhittable a few times this year. And John Gray keeps getting better and better each time out. He had the one slip up on the day we learned after that, he got married earlier in the day and struggled that night against the Mets. Gave up 7 runs in an inning and a third, but we've seen great focus from him, great competitiveness, not to mention he's got great stuff. 1-2 it remains on Dickerson. Kershaw's at 75 pitches, and he typically, is flirting with going the distance. And with that number, given how Mattingly handled Greinke yesterday, taking him out of a shutout he held after 93 pitches in 8 innings, and with the lead now so significant over the Giants, he's not going to leave Kershaw out there for 110 pitches. This could be a problem. Dickerson is going to have an infield hit. So Corey smelling a hit got up the line, and a leadoff infield single in the 5th. Just the Rockies' 2nd hit against Kershaw.
And not only do you get a base hit, but for me, he was running as good as we've seen him run in a while, getting up the line. You didn't see any problems with the foot. He comes out of the box clean, gets a base hit against Kershaw. But to just finish that thought on Kershaw, 2 starts ago, he threw 132 pitches. I mean, if you're trying to limit somebody.
But the reason he did, that was against the Giants, and it was game on. That's when, the Dodgers and Giants, is that caught? Guy's trying to wrestle it out of his glove.
He was trying to pull it out of his glove.
I've never seen that, have you?
It's a Boston fan.
He's just about 3,000 miles off. All right, you got your 8 seconds of fame.
Adrian Gonzalez knows this wall, knows where he's at. It's his home ballpark. Now this is a guy trying to take the ball and his glove.
Really? Tells me he may not be smiling here in a couple of minutes. 1 out as Tom Murphy fouls out. Spilly, you know that guy?
Ticket pass I left. No, he was wrestling Adrian Gonzalez. He was trying to pry the ball out of Adrian's glove, and the people around him were yelling to stop, and even the guys in the Rockies dugout, you had a collective laugh. Guys out here were saying, "What are you doing?" So as he takes it down, he is fighting, and you can't really see it from your angle, but down here, they're like, bro, that's Adrian Gonzalez, man. Let him catch it.
People have thrown their hands up like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
And
What
I
are you
don't,
doing?
Yeah, I don't blame Adrian for being angry.
Well,
I mean,
get
he's just,
hurt.
exactly, his hands in that, in the glove, and Barnes waited on it, but still swung through the breaking ball. It's 0-2. The 3 strikeouts for Kershaw came in a row in the second inning. Dickerson, Murphy, and Barnes. 7 strikeouts for John Gray. Now, Kershaw strikes out Barnes, 2 outs, and that'll bring up Gray.
Well, at least you're going to flip the lineup over. Get John Gray to come to at bat this top of the 5th inning.
And he may walk him again. You never know. Jim, when he walked Gray in the 3rd inning, leading off, it was the first time he'd walked a pitcher in a year to the day. And just the 3rd time that he has walked a pitcher in his last 70 starts.
So you're saying he doesn't like throwing to the pitcher on September 14th?
Evidently not. The guy he should walk once in a while is Bumgarner.
Yeah.
Bumgarner took him deep earlier.
He's taking a few guys deep.
Yes, he has. John Gray. Thought for a second that may sneak through the left side. Would have been his first career hit. So leadoff infield hit by Dickerson, nothing else. Middle of 5, 1-1 in LA. Brought to you by the Ford Fusion. Power you want and good looks too. Ford, go further. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. look at the LA Live area of downtown Los Angeles, right next to Staples Center and the Convention Center as well, a few minutes away. Clayton Kershaw to lead off in the bottom of the 5th inning against Jon Gray. Gray has allowed 4 hits. He's hit a batter. He had an intentional walk, and he struck out 7. Kershaw, Jock Peterson, Chase Utley. In all likelihood, this will be the last inning of work for Gray. And the first pitch on the outer edge, strike 1.
Well, of the 7 strikeouts for Jon Gray, 4 have come with the fastball, 3 with the slider.
And it's 0-2 on Clayton. Well, this was a moment ago, as we predicted. Yeah. That gentleman, a short night at the ballpark.
You paid good money to sit in that first row, and you watch 4.5 innings.
You should let her stay. She didn't do anything.
Well, why do they both have to be kicked out?
That's strikeout again of Kershaw. That's second time he's gone down, and the 8th strikeout for Jon Gray. He has, as they say, bellied up to the bar. Here's why that guy's got to go.
And he should go.
He should go. Absolutely. No place for that. What are you doing?
He should go.
I mean, you could hurt the player. I can see where your eyes are up, and that's why I always cut Bartman slack in Chicago. The ball's in the air. It's coming down on your head, so you're looking up. I get it. Well, when a glove comes in there, Jock Peterson fouls this off. This could be another crazy catch, maybe. Nope. Nolan unable to make that one. But once the guy, once he sees the glove come in there and feels it, back off.
This is why you bring your glove to the game if you're sitting there. Nolan knows he's getting close to that wall. He's had 2 or 3 run-ins with walls and tarps and cup holders this year.
0-1 on Peterson. That's inside. 1-1. Hard smash, nice pick up by Wilin Rosario.
Made that look easy.
Yeah, he was out early work again today with Stu Cole. They were working on pickups just like that.
With that big glove at first base, there's one position that you can do things one-handed. Sometimes if you try to do 2 with a first baseman's glove, it throws you off balance. Just work that with one hand. The world's best barbecue competition teams will be at Coors Field Saturday, September 19th. You can purchase the barbecue ticket package to vote for the Fans' Choice Award. Sample some incredible barbecue and visit with award-winning cook teams.
And another quick strike, this with the changeup. It's 0-1 on Chase Utley. A strikeout and a ground ball to the right side, fielded by Reyes with the shift on. 1-1, 2 outs in the 5th inning. Again, Tom Murphy said it in his first outing. Didn't mention his name on defense, and that's a good sign. Nice and quiet behind home plate.
Very low target. It's one thing you talk to pitchers, they like when the guy gets real low. I mean, maybe not as low as Tony Pena used to when he'd throw that leg out, the glove would be on the ground, but just notice how he really sits back, gets the glove below the knees. That just gives you a different visual as a pitcher.
Well, Huey, going to just adding on top of what you're talking about, the low target that he sets up, coaching staff, every time that he comes back, they are applauding Tommy Murphy, and not just for how he's receiving, but the game calling, the pitches he's calling. And I know dating back to a couple days ago with Dustin Garneau, John Axford for the save, multiple times going to that curveball to strike out. Kyle Seager, they're really giving high praise to the pitch calling from the young catchers.
Just missed on the outer edge, so he walks Utley with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Adrian Gonzalez. Six pitches in for Gray.
And I think pitch calling is a lost art at times with young catchers coming up, because so many times in Little League or youth baseball and high school and college, they just look to their wrist on that wristband, and that's how they make the call instead of reading swings and reading the hitter. Let the kids call the game. They'll learn more that way than just looking at their wrist for what sign you want them to put down.
Couldn't agree with you more. There's a strike on Gonzalez. He has struck out Adrian twice in the game. This is a good lineup he's going through tonight. One and one. This lineup second in Major League Baseball in on-base percentage, fifth in Major League Baseball in OPS. And way out front in the NL West, 22 games north of 500. And unstoppable typically at Dodger Stadium. Here's the 1-1. Again, he goes with the changeup. It's 2-1.
They're 47 and 21 at home. They're on pace for their 5th best winning percentage in history of the club.
5th in terms of wins, on pace for the best winning percentages back in the day.
Yeah,
when they're playing
154.
They're actually below 500 out on the road. Go figure. I mean, their record and the Rockies' record on the road isn't that dissimilar.
The Rockies are only 6 games behind the Dodgers as far as wins out on the road. Dodgers are 35 and 39.
2-1. Gonzalez drives it toward the gap in right center. Cargo's going to cut it off, and that will prevent Utley from scoring. It's a long single. They'll bring up Justin
Turner.
Well, we've seen the outfielders make some plays tonight. Brandon Barnes cut off a ball in the left center field, get it back in quickly to the cutoff man. We saw Cargo's throw last half inning to third base, and now Cargo again prevents a run from scoring by getting it in quickly, stopping Chase Utley at third and keeping Adrian Gonzalez at first.
So Steve Foster goes out to visit with John Gray, just check on him. John at 90 pitches. It's going to be pitch-wise. He already is deeper than he has gone in his career so far. He threw 89 against the Pirates in 4 1/3. Every other outing, he's been in the 70s. One start, 69. Of course, that tough start against the Mets at Coors Field, he threw just 45 pitches. Walt wants to see him get through this 5th inning. Give himself a chance if the Rockies were to score next inning to be the pitcher of record. Again, this is a growth moment also. You got some traffic in a 1-1 game. 2 outs, Turner. And he takes ball 1.
And the 3rd time through the lineup.
All of those things, he will be presented with next year. And you want to have a reservoir of experience to look back upon and say, okay, I remember that time at Dodger Stadium. Here's what I was able to do. 1-0 on the dangerous Turner. And he pulls this down the line. It's fair. 1 run is scored. Adrian Gonzalez is going to stop at third, and it's a run-scoring double for Turner, and the Dodgers take a 2-1 lead. And with Ethier coming up.
What a shame, because you had the first 2 guys out of the inning, and then you had the walk, the base hit, and now the double.
Well, this is what Turner's done all year. He's got so many big hits.
Last 18 games against the Rockies, hitting .444. Get a slider off of Jon Gray.
Brothers is up, and with a big stall going on. Seager's also a left-handed bat on deck. Will he let him face Ethier? Or will he go and get him? He's going to go get him. So Walt, mindful of the pitch count, will go and get Jon Gray, and all of this with 2 outs. And he lost Utley on a walk, and then Gonzalez, he fell behind, gave up a hit, fell behind Turner and gave up a double. 2-1 LA. Here's our first bank game recap. The Dodgers have just taken a 2-1 lead. Jon Gray goes 4 2/3, responsible for the 2 runners on. As of right now, he's given up 2 runs, but a lot of positive things for Gray tonight. 8 strikeouts, a career best, 2 walks, one of them intentional. Clayton Kershaw has got 5 innings, allowing a run on 2 hits. Hopefully Rex Brothers is able to put this inning down and get Andre Ethier and keep it a 1-run game. That's our first bank game recap. And now Ethier has been called back for Scott Van Slyke.
Well, Ethier was 2 for 15 career against Rex. Scott Van Slyke has been known to hit left-handers, but he's also 0 for 3 against Rex. So it's just a game between managers now who they feel, and with these extra bench.
And that's the biggest key.
Yeah.
There are things done in September baseball that would not be done during the regular season because you don't have that many bodies. You wouldn't pull Andre Ethier out in the 5th inning in a 1-run game. So here it is with Van Slyke, and a good block up there by Tom Murphy. Murphy familiar with Jon Gray and familiar also with Rex Brothers because most of this season Rex has been at Albuquerque. Tom Murphy started the year at New Britain after his experience in the Pan American Games with Team USA, went over to Albuquerque as well. And the curveball misses, 2-0. You have Seager on deck. Seager's not going to come out. Doesn't figure to, with Jimmy Rollins unable to play right now with that hand injury. And so Brothers basically passes on Van Slyke with first base open. So the bases are loaded for the young kid Corey Seager, who's doubled and was hit by a pitch. talk.
These guys have faced each other down in PCL.
Absolutely. Now, you talk about what Walt said in football, what Walt said in pregame, that when you get opportunities on offense, they're going to be few and far between. With a guy like Kershaw, you have to take advantage. And the converse is true. When you get in a pickle, you got to somehow keep the game tight. And Rex has now misfired on all 6 pitches, and it's 2-0. And I'll tell you what, Seager went up there, just looking at body language, he's taken. Because, again, the history with Rex is he's not a consistent strike thrower. You can just tell body language-wise. He was taken.
And that's a smart play from Kyle Seager. Oh, excuse me, Corey Seager. I just got done playing Seattle. His brother Kyle's in my mind, but Corey is a smart play from him. But you go over these scouting reports before every series. The hitters have their meetings, and the pitchers have their meetings. And how are you going to pitch to a guy? How are you going to, when you're facing somebody, what's going to be the approach? He was taking all the way 2-0.
Ron Renicky is now the third base coach. Yes, that Ron Renicky, the former manager earlier this year of Milwaukee. And this ball's in the air to Cargo. Easy play. And Brothers get Seager to end the inning. The Dodgers do take the lead with 2 outs against John Gray on the run-scoring double by Justin Turner. 2-1 as we turn the page to the 6th, top of the order for the Rockies.
He is at 263 strikeouts for tonight. Only a couple away from reaching 300 and batting up third this inning. Nolan Arenado sitting at 38 home runs. So time now for Lowe's. Never stop improving. Looking at some of these numbers, it's ridiculous. You see the guys, 38 home runs for Nolan, 37 homers for Cargo. Clayton Kershaw with the 263 strikeouts. So it brings up the point. When was the last time there's been a guy with 300 strikeouts and guys with 40-plus homers in the same year? And the last time it's ever happened, 2002, Randy Johnson with 334 strikeouts. His teammate, Curt Schilling, 316 strikeouts. There were 8 players in the major leagues that year with 40-plus homers. But it's crazy to think it's been over 13 years since that has been done.
Yeah, there were a few more homers being hit in those days. 300 strikeouts, though, is a silly number. Here's the 1-0 to Reyes. 2-0 on Jose. Third time through now for the Rockies against Kershaw. They got a double from Arenado in the first and then an infield single from Dickerson in the 5th. That's it in the way of hits. Just a 2-1 game, though. Outside 3-0.
And that's key. You didn't give up that extra run or two after falling behind in the game 2-1. You didn't make it 3-1 or 4-1 where you're facing an uphill battle against Kershaw anyway, and then he gets that lead. He's like that horse that sniffs the barn. He's just going to continue to go.
3-1 on Reyes. And Jose with a one-hopper to Turner. 1 out. Brooks Brown getting loose in the Rockies' pen. He'll be next.
Second baseman, DJ LeMahieu.
DJ LeMahieu. Low. DJ walked and scored in the first.
That walk in the first, he saw 8 pitches.
The Rockies have had high quality at bats against Kershaw. I think DeCargo's had 2 of them. He doesn't have anything to show for it. He does have an RBI ground out, but they've grinded out ABs tonight, and because of that, Clayton Kershaw here in the 6th inning has thrown 91 pitches, and you wonder if he'll throw beyond this 6th inning.
I'm not sure he will, and the bullpen has been a problem for the Dodgers.
Big time. Line shot. Put right at Utley. 2 outs.
But those at bats, I mean, DJ had an 8-pitch at bat. Rosario a 7-pitch. Nolan coming up had an 8-pitch. Barnesy in that at bat from Cargo, that was a 10-pitch at bat.
Again, I'm just basing this on how he handled Greinke yesterday. That coupled with the 7.5 game lead on the Giants. He wants these guys fresh as one can be heading into October. Nolan a double and a ground out. Actually, the ball he hit was headed up the middle, and Kershaw kind of kicked it in the direction of Chase Utley, so it was a 1-4-3 ground out. Rockies now have a couple guys going. This ball's lifted to fairly deep left center, but playable. Christian Friedrich going with Brooks Brown. So a 1-2-3 inning for Kershaw. Middle of 6, 2-1 LA. Order at Papa John's. The promo code is RocksWin at papajohns.com. So the Rockies will go to Brooks Brown here in the 6th inning. Yasmani Grandal, Scott Schebler, and Clayton Kershaw maybe. Don Mattingly went all over and talked to Kershaw when he came off the field. We all know Kershaw. We all know any competitor. He's going to want to stay in the game.
Like, no, you're not taking me out.
These are the difficult decisions that managers have to make. And here's the footage. This is a moment ago.
Any handshakes or hugs? It looks like it's more of a one-sided conversation from Kershaw saying, I'm fine, I'm going back out. He still had that look in his eye.
He definitely did. There's Brett Anderson. We'll see Brett in this series. Guys are staying away from him. That's another sign that he's going to stay in the ball game. We think.
We'll find out next inning, but what we do know
we're going to find out right now because he's due up third. Yasmani Grandal's at the plate, and Brooks Brown misses with his first offering. So Brothers, a third of an inning to get out of last frame. Did walk a batter. That's more of a pitch around, and now Brown is in there.
Right shoulder inflammation for Brooks from May 14th, and then off and on rehab, but recalled from Albuquerque on the 2nd, and picked up a win that night.
And it's 3-0. Scott Schebler's on deck. And swinging 3-0. Grandal with his second hit of the night. Scott Schebler's a 24-year-old from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Drafted out of an Iowa community college. Strong kid, 6'1", about 225 pounds. He has 2 minor league seasons in which he hit 27 and 28 home runs. 272 career hitter in the minor leagues. He's already hit a couple in the big leagues.
There's a minor league team in Cedar Rapids in the Midwest League. They used to be affiliated with the Reds way back when I was playing.
Hard to keep track
of
that
now,
now,
they move around. They have the 2-year agreements, sometimes the 4-year agreements in AAA.
Well, I'll give you an example. The Dodgers affiliate in AAA for years, Albuquerque. Now the Rockies are down in Albuquerque. Now the Oklahoma City Dodgers. That's where Schebler was playing this year. And
for the longest time, Okie City was the Rangers, and then they changed over to the Astros.
Right, they were a Texas affiliate. 1-2 on Schebler, and Kershaw, by the way, is in the on-deck circle. And a strikeout. Brown of Schebler, 1 gone.
By the way, the Cedar Rapids affiliate of the Twins now.
Kershaw elects not to offer at it, but it's in there for a strike.
4 sacrifices for Kershaw this year. Slides up in the box to create a better angle to get the ball in fair territory.
And that's a great bunt. Nolan will have to hustle and just did get Kershaw at first. He was waiting for Rosario to retreat back to the bag, and Kershaw, to his credit, ran hard.
And then Nolan had to throw hard to get it there. Drops it on the line. Rosario, there was the indecision. That's what happened. Rosario started to go back to the bag and then was going to think about peeling off to let DJ get there. Saw he wasn't, so he needed to then regroup and get that right foot on the bag, and they barely get Kershaw.
Now with Jock Peterson and Chase Utley and Adrian Gonzalez, 3 left-handed bats coming up. Brooks Brown's work is done for the evening, and Christian Friedrich will come on. 2 outs, runner in scoring position for the Dodgers. Trying to keep the heat on Toronto. Toronto 3 games up in the American League East. You know what? The Twins, you notice that, Huey? The Twins are just a game out of the wild card.
Don't fall asleep on Minnesota.
Do not fall asleep on the Twinkies. They won today 7-1 over Detroit. Swung on and missed by Jock Peterson. Joe Mauer led the way in that victory for the Twinkies.
Tight race in that league for Manager of the Year.
Paul Molitor is definitely in the conversation. Fastball's up at 93. It's 1-1 on Peterson. 2 outs. Friedrich trying to keep it a 2-1 ball game. Grandal's at second base.
62 appearances for Christian, leads the team. He's pitched in 4 of the last 6 games on this road trip.
Gave up a 2-run home run to left-handed hitting Kyle Seager, Corey's big brother, last time we saw him. Fouled off. 1-2.
Definitely pitched Peterson up in the strike zone, underneath the hands. He tried to go there.
Got a little too much in the center of the plate.
He likes the ball down. Get a lot of left-handed hitters. But his swing is really an uppercut. He's looking to do one thing, and that's to hit it out of the park.
Oh, that's a great curveball, or slider, I should say, and he strikes out Peterson. Second time Peterson a strikeout victim today. Friedrich gets his man. Grandal left at second. And as we go to the seventh, it remains 2-1 in favor of the Dodgers. Dodgers leading the Rockies 2-1 as we go to the seventh. Cargo's going to lead it off. Well, we have to share something with all of you. We could not be prouder of Miss Oklahoma, or better known as Georgia Frazier, George and Kay's daughter. And she finished in the top 10 last night in the Miss America pageant. And she sent out a tweet a little while ago. Congrats to the other Georgia, a.k.a. Miss Georgia, for winning Miss America. You are amazing and so lucky to call you a friend. And you talk about a brilliant and classy young lady, Georgia Frazier, and we could not be prouder of her. And I know Mom and Dad have never been that nervous in their life, but I mean, she was in the top 10. What an accomplishment.
It really is. It just tells you about, talk about dedication and hard work.
Wow.
I mean, that is the definition. And so congratulations to finishing the top 10. What an accomplishment.
Yeah, really remarkable. And she is a remarkable young woman. So again, that's awesome.
And Kate, George, congratulations.
Here's a base hit up the middle, just the Rockies' third hit. Cargo's had 3 strong at-bats against Kershaw, hasn't he?
They had the line out, ground ball RBI.
Kershaw 96 pitches in, and though the Rockies have only 3 hits, it's the third inning that they've had the leadoff man on, and it's a 1-run game. And here's the baby bull, line drive to deep right center, and he hit a little squibber back toward Kershaw. And a line shot, Cargo read it. He got back. right at Seager. That's the second time the Rockies have lined out with authority in the last inning. DJ had that line shot right at Chase Utley.
Left fielder Corey Dickerson.
Luis Avilan is now throwing in the Dodgers bullpen. It was one of those acquisitions around the trade deadline.
They made some moves.
They made some moves. They didn't make that huge move that everybody assumed they would for like a Cole Hamels. It wasn't for lack of effort, but again, they wouldn't part with Corey Seager. And
that's why
the guys they've picked up haven't exactly set the world on fire. I'll show you what we mean in a moment. There's a strike on Dickerson. Look at this threesome, Huey, that they picked up. Matt Latos, I mean, he was going to be that Nets guy in their rotation. He was so poor they just moved him to the bullpen recently. Avilan has a 6.55 ERA out of the pen, and Alex Wood has been okay. He came from Atlanta, and he will start on Wednesday. But they don't have a Jonas Cespedes that they acquired.
Well, not many clubs did. I think that's where the Mets get the prize for making the trade that's done the most for them. But that's a roll of the dice that general managers are going to have to do. That's what they say. Is this going to put us over the top? Is this what we need to get stronger as a club?
Two stayed off the slider. It's 1-2.
That was pitch number 101.
Corey chases up high, and Kershaw has his 5th strikeout of the game. I keep coming back to this. It's a 2-1 game. The Rockies have only 3 hits, but they've made Kershaw work. And he's not ringing up the strikeout totals he has recently, Jeff.
No, Ed, you mentioned it in that San Francisco Giants game where he threw 132 pitches. He had 15 strikeouts. The game before that, he had 14 strikeouts. Even the last one against the Angels, 8. But you make him work. You get him out after this inning. And the bullpen, huge question mark for the Dodgers. And possibly no Kenley Jansen tonight late in the game.
Yeah, Jansen threw in the last 2 ball games. Victories down in Phoenix for the Dodgers. So the rotation for the Dodgers, they're 2nd in starter ERA in baseball. Their bullpen is 25th in ERA. What a contrast.
That's why when you're looking at those 2 guys, Don Mattingly and Rick Honeycutt, they're thinking, and it's nice that we have Greinke and Kershaw, because then we only have to fill those other 3 days and massage a bullpen those days.
Tom Murphy swings through that. It's 1-1. There's Greinke.
Be a battle between those guys as the Cy Young Award winner and a few other guys sprinkled in.
Yeah, we'll look at some of the candidates, but we want to show what Greinke and Kershaw mean to the Dodgers and ultimately anybody else they may face in the postseason. Murphy with a towering pop. Going out is Seager. He's got it, and that ends the inning. So Cargo, who had the leadoff single, is left at first base. Stretch time in Los Angeles. The Dodgers continue to lead by a run. check our Data Strong fan photo brought to you by T-Mobile. That's a series of photos, a series of strong photos of fun at Coors Field. Brandon Barnes, excuse me, I got to flip my book over. Chase Utley is going to lead things off in the seventh inning. Rockies trailing 2-1. Christian Friedrich will remain in the game with a couple lefties due up, Utley and Adrian Gonzalez. Difference in the game, Utley walked with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Then Gonzalez ripped a single to right. And Justin Turner with a double down the left field line against John Gray. It looked, when Clayton Kershaw went back to the dugout, he high-fived everybody. It looked a lot more like his evening was done than when he left the field in the 6th inning.
105 pitches, 7 innings, 3 hits, just 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts. I would think he is. Avilan is still warming up in the bullpen.
Another
indication.
Yeah. Here's the 1-1, and this is a fly ball to left field. Dickerson out there. Corey makes the catch, and Utley is retired. That'll bring up Adrian Gonzalez.
First baseman number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
Adrian, former #1 pick in the entire draft. Marlins selected him #1. And even for Adrian, who's had a grand career, it took a while before he became Adrian Gonzalez that we all know, and you just assume, oh, he's great from Jump Street.
His first year in Texas, small sample size, 16 games, hit .238. Next year, 43 games, 150 at bats. He had 220 or 238, 227. So they're 200 at bats. He's still hitting in the low 200s.
Friedrich ahead 0-2. And he spikes the curveball. It's a 1-2 count. Well, Adrian Gonzalez, the nominations came out for the Roberto Clemente Man of the Year, and each team has a nominee. Adrian Gonzalez, and it's based on community work and service away from the ballpark. Adrian Gonzalez, the candidate for the Dodgers, and Kyle Kendrick is the Rockies candidate for that very prestigious award. This ball's well hit to left. Going back is Dickerson. He leaps and makes the catch. Oh, I hope he didn't hurt his foot. Well, he came down. It seemed a little awkward.
And remember, he hurt his foot here at Dodger Stadium on a little bit of a wet track out in left center field.
Justin Turner.
Got turned around off the bat of Adrian Gonzalez. Opens up one way and then has to spin around. I think it had more to do with crashing into the wall after he catches the ball.
Yeah, that fencing, Huey, and you know this, I know you don't play a ton of outfield, but it's that soft
like mesh wiring.
Mesh wiring, exactly. Thank you for filling in the blank for me. So it's not exactly, falling on a pillow out there. Well, a good inning as Justin Turner hits a little lob wedge to second. Strong inning for Friedrich. We'll go to the 8th, 2-1. Football fans, tune in this Saturday for college football doubleheader on Root Sports starting at 10:30 in the morning as Central Michigan will take on the Orange of Syracuse. Then into its Big Sky football as Montana State will visit Eastern Washington. That's this Saturday on Root Sports. Dodgers leading the Rockies 2-1. Drew Goodman, Jeff Hewson, and Ryan Spilborghs. Top of the 8th inning. Brandon Barnes will be first, and Luis Avilan will take over. Better numbers in 50 ball games with Atlanta than what he has produced here in Los Angeles.
In those 15 games here, he's allowed 8 runs in just 11 innings. That's how you calculate the 6.55 ERA. Look at that 8-player trade with the Braves on the 30th of July.
And the fastball is in there for a strike.
Christian Adames, real quick, has come to the on-deck circle, the switch hitter.
I'm sure it's never a disappointment when Kershaw exits the game.
No.
Kershaw goes 7 innings. He threw 105 pitches. And a good start, a base hit for Barnes in this one-run ball game. Kershaw gave up a run in 7 innings on 3 hits, walked 2, struck out 5.
Calling all college students. College night at the ballpark is Friday, September 18th. Packages include a game ticket and sunglasses. Visit Rockies.com/college.
Hitting number 18, Christian Adames.
Well, the public address announcer here in L.A. didn't get the correct pronunciation of Christian's name.
That.
He called him Adami. When you that takes me back to around 2005 when Clint Barmas first hit the big leagues, and I mean every park he went to, they called him Clint Barnes. That Sports Center was calling him Clint Barnes for a year and a half.
Got a couple guys with Christian Adames and then Brandon Barnes who just got the base hit. We have to flash back to yesterday and watching Brandon go Superman style down the left field line. But then the impressive part of this was to double up the base runner and got a lot of help from Adames on that relay throw. He shuffled his feet to get around the side of the baseball. It was a short hop, and then he made a long throw to first base to keep that ball game where it was to allow the Rockies to win 3-2.
He's made so many spectacular catches and clutch spectacular catches in his time with the Rockies. And Adames trying to drag a bunt. I mean, it wasn't a sack bunt, and he was caught in between. It wasn't pretty.
And didn't know where he wanted to go with it. Was he going to push it to first? Was he going to drag it down the third base line and got tied up?
Crowd of 43,731 at Dodger Stadium tonight. John Gray pitched well, went 4 2/3, couple runs, 6 hits, couple walks, 1 intentionally, struck out a career best 8. Barnes, very good speed at first. Reyes on deck.
You have a good hit and run man at the plate.
You just don't have a good hit and run count.
No.
Right now.
But if they think you're going to bunt, they might put one in there to hit and run. Because Adrian Gonzalez is coming over. They're going to talk about what he is going to do. Is he going to stay at the bag? Is he going to give it a bluff where he'll take a step in and then go back to the bag, or just break immediately when the foot comes up? There's 2 or 3 different plays a first baseman can put on, and Don Mattingly was one of the best at putting those on when he was with the Yankees.
Juan Nicasio, the one-time Rocky, is up.
See, there it was. And Avilan went home as Adrian was going back to the bag.
Two-strike count on Adames. And Avilan strikes him out. Jose Reyes coming up. He's grounded out 3 times, including a 5-4-3 double play in the third. Who Wants Tacos? Fans follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Reyes takes a healthy hack. No baseball. It's 0-1. We talked earlier, Jeff, about how good the Dodgers have been at home. Best home win percentage in Major League Baseball, and they've picked it up of late on the road, and going 7-3 their last road trip. Dodgers overall last 19 games a Major League best 15-4.
That's the best since August 25th.
And by far they have the best record inside the NL West, 37-22.
What do we talk about in this game? You know, after the pitching, you talk about 1, taking care of home field, and 2, taking care of your own division.
Well, with the lopsided schedule that has existed for a while, you're playing 76 games inside your division. It's basically half the schedule. I know Walt Weiss wishes it wasn't that heavy, but it is what it is. And the Rockies this year, and there's a strikeout. Avilan fans Reyes 2 outs. This year, the Rockies are just 24-37 in the West, which is their 4th worst win percentage inside the division in their history.
And that win percentage equates to .393 compared to the Dodgers' .627. When it goes to Dodgers, the best, then the Giants, Padres, D-backs, and then the Rockies.
Yeah, I mean, break the Rockies down, and you know, clearly they're nowhere near where they want to be, but it's been 2 things. They've been really poor inside their division, and they've been, again, really poor against the American League. Been pretty decent against the Central and against the NL East. So Avilan, with 2 outs, is removed, and Don Mattingly's going to bring in the erstwhile Rocky, Juan Nicasio. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price in sales and service guaranteed. By the Courtyard by Marriott, Western Elegance in the cultural heart of the city. And by Saratoga Casino, so new, so you. Dodger Stadium, the Rockies trailing 2-1, 2 outs in the 8th inning. Brandon Barnes left at first base right now after a leadoff single. DJ LeMahieu's coming up, and Juan Nicasio, who has found his footing as a reliever here in Los Angeles in his first year, making his 47th appearance. Been really good against righties.
194 average compared to 344. With 46 strikeouts against the right-handers. So many times it was, see if he could be as a starter. Once he came over here, they just asked him to go out there and just throw as hard as he can. Give me that hard slider for maybe an inning, sometimes two. He's thrown a lot of multiple innings. But he doesn't have to worry about tricking anybody or seeing him the second and third time.
He got a save against the Rockies earlier this year, and he was 97-98 that day in the spring. J.P. Howell is up, and that's if it gets to cargo. And hopefully it does. Miguel Castro is throwing for the Rockies. He's just been joined by Jairo Diaz, and Miguel will come in if the Rockies do not score here. If they get even or go ahead, you'll see Jairo Diaz in all likelihood. One strike on DJ, 0 for 2 and a walk. Line to second his last time. Another check on Barnes. Rockies have been out hit 7-4.
After that throw over, notice the outfielders for the Dodgers, they're back almost to the warning track for the no doubles.
And it's 1-1. You like the thought of Barnes going here?
Not right now. I want to give DJ another pitch. See how the count goes.
One and two. Now I'm sure you like it a lot better.
I do. That's why I was going to wait one after the 1-1 pitch to see what it gets to. We went to 2-1, and I'd say no way. But now 1-2, you get a good jump, try to steal it.
At 96, Nicasio strikes out LeMahieu, and that ends the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It is still 2-1 Los Angeles.
field, number 33, Scott.
2-1, Dodgers leading the Rockies. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Let's check our CenturyLink link to what's next. Our matchup tomorrow evening. And it's Chris Russin against Brett Anderson. Brett Anderson's first year with the Dodgers after not being re-signed by the Rockies. He's 9-8, a 3.36 ERA, and Chris Russin with a 5-8 record. We're on the air at 7:30 in the Mountain Time Zone with our pregame show tomorrow. That's our CenturyLink link to what's next. So bottom of the 8th inning, Miguel Castro will make his 5th appearance since being called to the big leagues, the former Blue Jay. And Miguel, in his last outing on Saturday, a 1-2-3 frame with a couple of strikeouts. And pitches in there to Scott Van Slyke.
And that's what we were seeing in that game, 97, 98 miles an hour. Just a tall, lanky kid that generates incredible whip with that arm.
Two balls and a strike. And that's in there, 2-2.
Good movement.
Well, it looks like Chris Hatcher is going to close tonight for the Dodgers. See you later, Van Slyke. Got fooled on that slider. That'll bring up Corey Seager. We mentioned Kenley Jansen through the last 2 days, and he had to throw a lot more pitches than he bargained for yesterday. It was 4-0 when he took over, got 2 quick outs and a hit, a walk, 3-run homer before he settled down to get Lamb, and it was a 4-3 victory.
He had to get that 4-out save the day before, so pile those two things together. That's why he's unavailable tonight.
Just missed. It's 1-1 on Seager. He had a double his first time up in his Dodger Stadium debut. Came up while the Dodgers were on the road. Hit by a pitch and a fly ball to right field. And he's got another base hit. Sweet swinging kid, huh?
Really is. His bat stays in the zone. Long time.
Catcher number 9, Yasmani Grandal.
Think he'd be able to get inside under the hands. He showed he could make the adjustment.
Well, talking to a lot of the guys around the batting cage, Dodgers guys, Rockies guys, and even Chris Warren, the Rockies advanced scout, they say the sky's the limit for Kyle Seager. They think maybe 20 home run potential is probably where he's going to start, but some guys think he's potentially a 40 home run guy.
That's a high ceiling.
You know who his swing reminds me of? Sean Green.
Well, Sean Green was a guy who could hit a lot of home runs.
But just the same build.
Yeah. A long and lean drive to left field. Dickerson makes another catch where he's going back, and Grandal is the second out of the inning. He has swung it well tonight. 2 gone, and that'll bring up Scott Schebler.
Left fielder number 30, Scott Schebler.
Schebler an intentional walk and a couple of strikeouts. Rockies against Hatcher in the 9th. We'll have Arenado, Gonzalez, and Rosario. You got the right guys coming up. Oh boy, the bottom dropped out of that thing.
Turned it over.
What's his name? Or her?
I don't know. I don't know what kind of bird that is.
High fly ball, deep right, and Schebler with a long home run, and he just broke this thing open. Wow. But timely. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, a 1-run game. Dodgers don't have their closer available. Kind of what they've been doing of late. And a 4-1, third career home run for Scott Schebler.
And it wasn't a wall scraper. This thing went back into the second row of seats out in the bleachers. Letter high fastball. And he knew it, but see how deep this ball goes. Rare will you see one go that far at night. You'll see it during the day. If you hit it that far, you know you crushed it.
Alex Guerrero will pinch hit here in the 9th. He fouls that one back. 4-1 LA now. Been locked in at 2-1 since the 5th inning. Slider for a strike, and it's 0-2. Out of play. On the outside corner, strike 3. Damage done, though. Scott Schebler, a 2-out, 2-run home run, and the Dodgers will carry a 3-run lead now to the 9th inning. Arenado will lead it off. Four hits yesterday for the Rockies in a 3-2 win in Seattle. Just 4 hits tonight. It's tough to win games with 4 hits. Chris Hatcher is going to be asked to get the save. First time, if he's successful, since May the 2nd of this year. It'll be his 40th appearance.
And his other save was opening day, so just 2 career saves. So you got a guy that's not been in this situation many times in his career. How is he going to handle it when he's called upon? You see guys melt down and not pitch the same. Hopefully that's the case tonight.
It did help that he got the 2 insurance runs with that 1 swing by Schebler. So Nolan, a double in the first against Clayton Kershaw, 1 for 3. Archer hits the strike zone with the fastball at 96, and it's 0-1. Nolan's got mom and dad in attendance tonight. And this ball's in the air to center pretty deep. Peterson. There were question marks about Peterson, how he'd handle center field. And we've watched him play a bunch, not only here but at Coors Field also. This kid can play center field.
He gets some jumps. You can follow the Rockies with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live Rockies baseball. At Bat is the up to the minute with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat now.
1 out, Cargo at the plate. An RBI ground out in the first. He had a deep drive to deep left on a lengthy at bat against Kershaw, and then singled sharply against him up the middle. He has swung it well tonight. And he takes strike 1 at 98.
Yeah, both guys went up there taking the first pitch, or at least take it till they got a strike.
What's the rule of thumb?
Well, I think with a young guy and a guy that's never done it or hasn't done it much in his career, I would take one till you get a strike. If it's somebody else that's just nails, then no. Go up there, fire at the first one you see.
And what's the rule of thumb?
I don't want to fall behind.
When you're down by 1, down by 2, down by 3 or more?
I think down by 1, I wouldn't do it. I would give, especially with a Nolan and a Cargo, I'd give them free rein to try to tie it up on the first pitch. You know, now, without the leadoff guy getting on, you're going to need a couple runs after that 2-run home run. Down by 3, you need base runners.
Ball and 2 strikes. And Cargo with another base hit. That'll bring up Willeen Rosario.
The Rockies have had some base runners coming into this inning. The leadoff man had reached 4 of the last 6 innings, but nobody had gotten to second base. So the last time they were out in scoring position was back in the first inning.
Somehow Willeen can get on. Tying run would come up in Corey Dickerson. Now we know what kind of pop he has.
And because of that, J.P. Howell is throwing again in the Dodger bullpen.
Wondering what he was doing there, playing Zorro.
I'm not sure.
That part of his preparation. That's a strike 0-2.
Some guys get ready different ways.
Right now he's getting ready by talking. He hasn't thrown a ball.
Maybe he's ready. There's one.
Let me tell you what I'm going to do when I get in there. It's going to be my warm-ups. Here's the 0-2. Two pretty good hitters named Gonzalez visiting there. Two pretty good guys, too. They're both pros. Good job by Willeen.
Willeen can hit anybody's fastball. See if Hatcher throws him a slider after giving him 3 in a row with the fastball.
Yeah, he went slider, but it's well off the plate. Rockies' run came in the first inning. A one-out walk to LeMahieu. Nolan doubled, and then Cargo with an RBI ground out. And this is in the air to right center field. Jock Peterson. And there are 2 outs. Dickerson with 2 outs will come up.
The fielder, number 6, Corey Dickerson.
The Rockies have Tom Murphy on deck, but if Dickerson were to reach, I know Howell's warming up. And you got a number of left-handed bats who can hit it out of the yard. Justin Morneau, Ben Paulson, Charlie Blackmon. There's Morney getting a leg stretched. He's got a bat. He's got gloves on, the helmet nearby. There's Rafael Ynoa.
It does get to that. I mean, Justin, looking at his numbers, he's 3 for 9 against J.P. Howell with a double. Ben Paulson's 1 for 1 with a home run off of J.P.
One and one on Dickerson, just trying to reach and bring the tying run to the plate. Cargo is going to move up here on this pitch. It's 2-1. Adrian Gonzalez playing behind with 2 outs. Again, if you score with this at home, that's defensive indifference, not a stolen base. Three and 1. It's got to be real good.
Real small and tight strike zone for Corey. And then if he does get on, you think about pinch running for him.
That may be why we saw Ynoa stretching. That's a shot. Oh, what a pickup by Adrian Gonzalez. That'll end the ball game. Great pickup by Adrian Gonzalez, one of the finest glove men at first base in the game. And the Dodgers win it 4-1 in this first of 3. It was a good ball game. The lead opened up by a couple of runs, obviously in the bottom of the 8th inning with the 2-run home run hit by Schebler. Clayton Kershaw wins another game. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game, the work of Kershaw this evening. He goes 7 innings, 105 pitches. He holds the Rockies to just a run on 3 hits, couple walks, and 5 strikeouts. He improves now to 14-6. And that ERA gets even smaller in competition with his good friend Zach Greinke for supremacy in the National League. Dodgers improve now to 83-60. The Rockies fall to 60-84. Again, the final score: the Dodgers tonight in Los Angeles win it over the Rockies 4-1. And we take you back to our Root Sports studios in Denver. And here's Jenny and Corey. Jenny, all yours.